Y'all remember this one? I know. I'm sorry. The poodle hair, the Skittles makeup. Maybe you need a little bit more refreshing of the memories.
Today is my birthday.
Today is your birthday.
How old do you think that I am?
52.
Oh, how did you know?
He knows, girl. He knows. So do we. If that didn't jog your memory, let's look at a few of her most recent courtroom antics, shall we say.
His divorce was not started.
Okay.
So you spent your whole date getting to know each other, talking about me.
Don't flatter yourself. No, we did not spend the whole time talking about you.
And she said what she said, and she meant it. You'll probably remember this little zinger as well.
And were we eating my green chili chicken enchiladas?
Do not remember that.
You do not remember that?
Nope.
Is that what I made every time we had a family get together, which was like 10 times a year?
I don't remember that.
Okay.
I bet he remembers the bathroom after, though. Well, y'all, now that we're all on the same page as to who old Miss Vallow Daybell is, for those that are kind of new to the whole situation, she's been back in court recently for one last big old heaping serving of crow pie. And let's go ahead and talk about some of her antics in that little showdown in today's video.
Hey, 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 welcome to the Sofa Squad, sipping from the cup at hey, hey.
Now hold on everybody, let's do a quick sofa sidebar now. Keep in mind, ain't no cop, ain't no doctor, ain't no lawyer, ain't no therapist, ain't none of that fancy credentialed stuff. Now keep in mind also, I'm just giving my opinions on very public information, so do your own research, come to your own opinions, and drop them off in the comment section. And while you're down there, if you do like what you see here at the Sofa Squad, drop a little like, drop a little comment, drop a little share. It helps the channel out immensely. Now let's get edition. Hello Sofa Squad and welcome back to the sofa. Bam! It's a fake sofa. It's Paul. My name is Paul if you're new to the channel. If you ain't new to the channel, guess what? My name is still Paul. Okay. Now, that's what we already talked about, what we're going into here, but let's get everybody on the same page. If you're brand new to this case, let's do a very quick overview of what's what, who's Vallow Daybell, and how she came across that hair and that Skittles makeup. So Vallow Daybell is at the center of one of the most shocking murder cases in recent history. She was convicted for the murders of her two children, Joshua J.J. Vallow and Tylee Ryan, as well as for her role in the death of her husband, Chad's first wife, Tammy Daybell. Now, prosecutors would argue that Lori, along with her husband, Chad, were driven by extreme religious beliefs. They mixed doomsday prophecies with delusions about evil spirits, zombies, you name it. They believed the children were possessed and that their deaths were necessary for what they saw as a divine plan. Now, Lori, of course, was eventually found guilty in Idaho of numerous charges and sentenced to life in prison without parole. Chad is on the old death row. Now, Lori, who has also been convicted in the attempted murder of her former nephew-in-law, I guess you would call him, Brandon Boudreaux, and this would take place in Arizona. Now, there's several channels that go on mega deep dives of this case, of this situation, if it's something that you're wanting to dive very deep into. I have my own playlist of it. You can definitely check it out. Another channel to check out is Kresha. She is the daughter of Larry and Kaye Woodcock. She is the niece of Charles Vallow. She has her own channel. She's a family member. She goes into lots of stuff about not just the case, but other aspects to look at that inform this case. Now, also Lori's own son, Colby Ryan, he has his own channel and he gives his perspective, obviously from his perspective of what happened to his family, his mother, his sister, his brother, the whole 9 yards. So check them out. That's the gist of it. And I say this because this is literally a case that you can't really even do it justice, or the victim's justice, to do a 60-second overview, but for the sake of this video and this update, that's what we're doing. Okay, so now, most recently, what has Lori done? So let's talk about the most recent hearing and what this was. Number one, it was done like on Zoom and whatnot. You'll see some clips from it that I pulled in a minute, taking these from Nate Eaton of East Idaho News. And if you follow this case, you'll know Nate, a wonderful man, wonderful reporter. Now, what this was, and this is the beauty of justice and karma and crow pie and all that stuff. So this was a restitution hearing, okay? And this was about restitution that Lori owed to one of the victim's families, family members, families, whatever. The person being Kaye Woodcock. Kaye Woodcock is the grandmother of JJ, and she is Charles Vallow's sister. And if you follow this case, you'll know her role in this, right? She was the first to be like, where are the kids? You know, something's not right. Really getting out there. Her husband, Larry, you know, right beside her in all this journey and really rounding people up and connecting the dots in this crazy thing, right? Now, this is just my personal opinion. Again, I don't personally know the family. I, you know, don't have any and other kind of information that other people do. So this is just my opinion watching it. During the midst of all this, the tragedy, the murders that Lori did and all this stuff, to me at the center of it is money, right? Of many things, okay? And some of that is the fact that once Charles understood, Charles Vallow, Lori's late husband that she helped kill. Once he saw the writing on the wall, he switched everything over to Kaye Woodcock, the money, the inheritance for JG and whatnot. And so when Lori, you know, and others killed him, it was like, you know, here's Lori, where's my money? When she found out that Kaye Woodcock got that money, no. And I do believe that there was like this retaliation type thing, almost like what she did to JJ. A sliver of that was also like, I'm getting back at you, Kaye. I'm getting back at you. And one thing I always refer to is when Lori was first apprehended. And the first time we saw Lori in the courtroom with Kaye Woodcock, this is the very beginning where we still didn't have confirmation of what had happened with everybody and the children. And when Lori walked past Kaye, number one, Kaye, I just felt like was staring daggers through her, right? And Lori to me had this very mocking smirk on her face and almost like nanny boo boo, I got you, right? I put me in jail, I've already done the damage, right? That kind of thing. It gives me goosebumps. It's completely mind-numbingly angering, but that's beside the point right now. Let me keep going or else I'll go off on a little tangent on that. So that's what this hearing is about. Now what I want to do is look at some of the clips and we're going to talk about some of the things I think she's saying, etc., and her tone towards the judge. As I said in the beginning, I ain't no body language expert and none of that stuff. This is just all allegedly me, my own little opinion of what I'm seeing here. So let's look at that first clip.
You're stipulating to pay restitution to Kaye Woodcock in the amount of $11,747.99. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, that right there, you heard the figure to Kaye Woodcock. You know this is eating Lori alive, okay? Absolutely frying her, right? She already probably feels like, Kaye got all the money. Kaye did this, blah, 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 blah. Because remember, Lori is saying, I didn't do this. This was supposed to happen and, blaming everybody but herself, okay? So for her to have to come out to court and then okay money. Now we're gonna look at in a minute one of the clips where I feel like she says something, but let's just pause and look at a couple other clips before we get to that one first. Now the state had initially requested around $8,654, but after corrections, the final stipulated total was what we just heard. It was $11,747.99 to Kaye Woodcock. Thank you very much, and we ain't taking honey buns for that, Miss Lori.
So you can add Miss Woodcock's total of $12,096.97 of restitution to my tab.
Oh, you heard her. You heard her right there. She thought she ate with that, okay? I'm telling you, she's so bitter towards Kaye. And that's like the beauty of this moment right here is you can see how much it's getting under her skin. Now, Lori would have you think that she's living in like some little, I don't know if you want to even call it a delusional land, something, right? I personally think, and again, I don't know her, I only know what we all know, what we've watched, right? I think that she's way more aware of things than she lets on, is what I'm trying to say. And I think it shows in these moments right here of being so angry and so bitter towards like Kaye and these people that she feels maybe in her mind that wronged her on some level, even though to the rest of us who've maybe followed this and watched it from afar, that it's the opposite, right?
Any drugs, alcohol, or medication in the last 24 hours that would affect your ability to make this decision?
Have I been on any drugs, Your Honor? Is that what you're asking?
No, I'm asking, have you had any drugs, alcohol, or medication that would affect your ability to understand or make this decision today?
Is Your Honor aware that I am in prison? I have no access to any of those things. So no, the answer is no, I have not.
I could go two ways with that. She's like, does Your Honor know that I'm in prison? I don't have access to all that good stuff, right? We're stone cold sober, hooching it from the toilet up in here. Then when she's also like, so trying to play that off, and it's just like, girl, you're in prison. I'm sure there's drugs in there, probably good ones, right? Let's be honest. But you heard the way she talked to him. Now, one thing I really loved about this judge in the trials is, to me, he was very no nonsense. He just had this very dry, kind of affective, almost like this sarcastic dryness about him that I absolutely loved. And he was like, to me, my opinion of his, I don't want to call it performance, but his duty, whatever you want to call it, his role as a judge in it, is he was over Lori. He was over her BS. And it was like, boom, boom, boom. We ain't having this. Let's get through this. Okay. So you're here right here. He's also, in my opinion, doing something where he's not giving her a reaction, because somebody that acts like Lori's doing, like, you know, all this attitude, they want you to react. And I mean, trust me, it would be hard for me not to. Okay. But he's not giving her that reaction. He's just like going through, no, I'm asking you this, you know, can we move along? And again, it has to be eating her alive.
Thank you for answering the question. Has anyone promised you anything in exchange for your agreement to pay this restitution?
No.
Now, these clips right here, there's only a couple more we're going to watch. Start watching her mouth, her face, the things that she's mouthing to somebody off camera. And we'll play them and we'll kind of zoom in on them, and then we'll converse down the comment section about it. But I think, again, with Lori, she wants that last word, right? She wants to get the last little dig in, or the last little this. And I think that's what she's trying to do here, but I'm curious what y'all's opinions is of what she's trying to do.
Has anyone forced you, threatened you, or coerced you to get you to agree to pay this restitution?
Only my trials, Your Honor, coerced me.
Now, this is what I'm talking about right here. Only my trials. She's going with this whole MO where she's coerced into, you know, I had to do this, you know, oh my God, the Arizona thing, you know, the jail system, the judicial system is terrible here. You know, we're forced to do this. We'll sit in here for years and years and years and years. And I'm not trying to even sit here and say that there might not be some truth to that, right? Two things can be true at one time. Lori can be a horrible manipulator and and it can be like a very slow wheels of justice type thing. So, you know, there's that. Now, in her specific case, she seems to have locked into this whole thing of, like, especially in Arizona, it's like she always needs to be leading the show in some way. And I wonder if she was like this, like before this, because when you hear like the family members talk about her, there seems to be like two Loris at one point where she was, air quotes, normal at a certain, you know, stage in life. And I'm just like, was she always trying to be the ringleader, the show leader, the this and that, the center of attention, let's say? Now with Chad Daybell, it was, we're gonna lead the 144,000. We're gonna go gather them up. Okay, we're just gonna kind of wing it, do our own little thing over here. We don't need no church no more. We don't need all that. It's our show. When that got gone, now she's talking about, this is for the ladies in the penitentiary here in Arizona. That's why I came to do this trial. It's for the ladies. Okay, I'm speaking on behalf of them. And I'm just like, are you really though? You know, right? What's it gonna be next? Like, what's it gonna be next? She always has to do that. And I'm like, girl, can't you just chill? Can't you just be? But at this point too, you know, and I'm kind of speaking out loud here and just going down the rabbit hole. So it's like, okay, you killed your kids or were part of that. I know she doesn't think she did, but at the end of the day, I'm sorry, she knows what happened in her mind, and she puts her head down on a pillow at some point during the day and those quiet thoughts rise. It's almost like you would have to go down and dig your heels in of that rabbit hole of like, I'm doing this, or this is my cause, or this is my identity. Because other than that, your identity is you orchestrated killing your children and a bunch of other people, right? So imagine like waking up, or I say waking up, but you know, coming to whatever you want to call it, and being like, oh my God, what did I do?
All right. The court finds that your agreement is knowingly, intelligently, voluntarily made. It's ordered that you pay $11,747.99 in restitution to Kaye Woodcock. The restitution would take priority over any other fines and fees that have been imposed.
Also, look at how she's sitting there like, now, she might be looking down at something, I'll give her that. But also notice how he was like, this takes precedence over any other fines, fees, honey buns, and soups too, I'm sure.
And it's ordered that that restitution be paid out at the maximum rate allowable out of any prison account.
She got a little serious there. She was like, what? She was like, hold on now. She's like, I just ordered 2 soups, honey bun, and a Snickers bar. We talking about after I get that in this Friday, or like where are we at with that? That right there is gonna chap her grits. Okay, let's just call it that. The fact that Kaye is getting her honey bun money, I love every second of it. Give Kaye all that honey bun money. Give it to her the soup money too. Little slides, all that money. Right? Give it to her with interest.
Wait and see if any requests for hearing come in. All right. Thank you. We'll be at recess.
Okay, now that one you just saw where she talked somebody off the thing. Now this is my thing. We're gonna watch it again, and I think she says something like, "I'm not going to pay that."
Wait and see if any requests for hearing come in.
I feel like she said, "I'm not going to pay them," because also he threw in there Brandon Boudreaux. Okay, so he was like, give him the honey bun money too, right? So this is the thing. So she has to do this on a couple of things. She's doing this on camera while she's still in the hearing. So to me, it's like she's trying to have the last word, trying to take power. I'm not going to pay them. It's like, well, girl, you might. If they, I mean, I don't know how it works. Like if like there's one account, I guess I'm like, are you going to funnel money, right? Like, are you going to like? I mean, how are we going to get around this girl? I can't imagine. And I say this in all the videos I make about this. I can't imagine being in this scenario and like having to deal with this. So if you look at the surviving victims, you know, of this debris that Lori has left of people's lives, right? And the people that have been affected with it. That would irritate me so beyond belief. Now at this point though, it's like she's in prison, she's, you know, doing her thing, whatever, but it's the smirking, it's the laughing, it's the nanny boo boo aspect of it that even me, who I'm not related to the victims, I don't know them, I just know them from what we've learned about them. And obviously there's empathy there. Yeah, but it's different when it's like, that was my brother or sister, that was my cousin, that was my parent, you know, that type thing. And so that runs all over me to even watch it. So I'm just like, you know, but also keep in mind, if you watch this trial, remember when Lori was a showdown of the century, Lori directly questioned Kaye and Lori was scared of her. So to me, that tells you everything you need to know about where Lori really stands, right? She knows Kaye's not the one kind of a situation of the people she questioned. Now she would go toe to toe with like Nancy Joe, even though Nancy ate and left no crumbs. So this right here is just disrespectful, but that's what we've come to expect out of Lori. And we'll probably see these little things as she does stuff. I imagine that Lori will find a way to meander her way in some form of infamy spotlight, right? Now, this is obviously a court hearing, stuff is happening, but I think we'll continue to hear from her. And then some of it could be more like tabloid-esque type stuff, right? Almost like think like Chris Watts, you know what I'm saying? Where the case is over, it is what it is, but you hear things pop up from time to time, like, oh, they found, you know, his roomie stuff or whatever, and his, you know, all the stuff that went on with Chris Watts. So that being said, this is the latest from Vallow Daybell, right? So anyways, that is it. Let me know what you think. I'm very curious to know, do you think she was saying, I'm not going to pay them? Because if she did, personally, I think you know that she was thinking it, right? And so I'm curious if y'all think that, or if you've seen other channels that are like, okay, we did a lip reading and this is what she said. So anyways, let me know in the comments. And while you are down there, if you could, pretty please, leave some little sofas in there for Roscoe and Spirit, Bo and Sofa, myself and you, the Sofa Squad, the most important. You make the channel possible. It wouldn't be here without you, and I greatly appreciate it. So until we meet down in that comment section below to do all that stuff, I'll see y'all soon.
I just wanted to say thank you again for watching the whole video, and also thank you for being part of the Sofa Squad. Special thanks to all the Patreon members, channel members from both of my channels, everybody who likes, shares, subscribes, comments in the comment sections. It helps the channel out so much. Now don't forget, I do have that other channel, the podcast channel. That's where we go live, we hang out, we talk. We have kind of sort of a schedule, but just be sure and check it out. I'll put it up here on the screen. And then like I said in the beginning of the video, if you want to follow me and Roscoe on the Instagram, go on, check it out. It's right here on the screen again. But once again, thank you very much. I really appreciate you being part of the Sofa Squad, and I'll see you in the next video.
Welcome to the Sofa Squad, sipping from the cup that hey, come laugh with the Sofa Squad. Can't roll my damn eyes hard enough.